Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And I have a bit of news for update in general for the channel and a couple of things going on in my life. And so it's a little bit of an exciting time. It's also a time of a lot going on. And in addition, a lot of changes that I'm hoping to be able to make. There's also part of the reason why I haven't uploaded a video in a bit of time. So one major thing is I have left the 9 to 5 work world or work life. So I'm happy about that. That's finally a thing now where I'm able to get by on a level of passive income that I don't have to do a 9 to 5 anymore. So I'm kind of applaud to that and getting out of that grind. So I will be able to dedicate more to this channel. I actually have more than one channel and other different business ventures that I am trying to dive into and put those forward. So that is going to be a lot. I have a lot of work coming ahead, a lot of things that's going to be on my plate. In addition, I'm looking forward to joining a gym because recently I've been working a whole bunch and I was not able to really join a gym. I always promote on this channel that, people need to, like I said, in the process of bettering themselves, bettering their health, and their fitness as well is something. If you are capable of dedicating a certain amount of time to it, I always recommend that you dedicate some time to it, but sometimes you aren't able to dedicate more time than, or as much time as you would like. And so now I am going to be able to dedicate more time to that. So I'm going to join a gym later in the week and I'll be able to incorporate that into my schedule. Whereas before I was working out at home, doing a little something here and there. And I definitely recommend that. And I think that later on I will do a video just kind of pushing and advising that people who are trying to figure out, a workout schedule for themselves to kind of dive into a space of, and at one point I kind of needed to do this, especially when I had a lot going on, this and that. You get into that space of, I don't have time, I'll do it another time, or eventually I'll join a gym, or eventually I'll start working. If I'm going to work out at home, eventually I'm going to start working out. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, blah blah, but haven't had the time, or I'm going to do it today, and then when today comes, you're like, you know what, not into the mood, blah blah. So breaking down a kind of step-by-step guide on little exercises you can implement for yourself, certain target goals that you have, but do them in very small bits. So for myself, there was a point in time where I was like, okay, I want to do things that target a little bit of the upper body and a little bit of the stomach area, a good amount. Leg area I was always pretty good with, but those areas of the body. And I had then implemented a little, after I get home from work, a little workout regimen. Wasn't much, just a couple of push-ups, try to do a couple of sit-ups and stuff like that, and a few other activities I was doing with like minor weights and stuff like that, little dumbbells, not that much weight on them, maybe like 12 pounds, something of that sort, 15 pounds. So it was just, per each hand, like 15 each hand or something, just for the purpose of, I think it's 12. I have these small ones just for repetition, just to give yourself, it's not about building up huge muscle, but just keeping yourself burning fat, so you're not getting out of shape. And the problem is I kind of overshot what I was trying to do in terms of comfort. So then I would come home, I'd be tired. Later on, I found a balance. For me, it was when I get up in the day, whatever points of the day, get into the shower, right after you get into the shower, because the shower wakes you up, incorporate my exercises at that point. And it wasn't much because before I used to have access to a gym, then I didn't have access to a gym anymore. So I had to do my stuff at home. It was easier when I was at the gym and the time frame. Then later on I was working a bunch of hours. So by throwing it in after I took a shower and I didn't do too much, I stripped it down to very bare bone basics. So it was like do a couple of push-ups, and then do a little bit with the little dumbbells, a couple of curling, maybe overhead lifts just to kind of get the shoulders. A relative of mine told me that if you do push-ups and you hold it, that can also target the stomach, because I didn't like doing crunches. Started doing that. So then by doing that, I was maintaining, I could see the results of maintaining. I didn't do a lot. And sometimes I may have done a little less than other days, but I always did my push-ups. And so I'll do a breakdown video of that and how you can pace that out, even though I kind of spoke almost all on it just now. But yes, the point of that is just getting into a space where you do something and don't do nothing. And I also had changed the way I was eating as well, tried to stick to mostly protein like chicken or red meat and vegetables and not a lot of starch. Now, I'm not an expert when it comes to what's the most healthy thing and this and that, but I realized that by doing that, I was cutting out a lot of the weight that was going to my stomach area. And I'm not a heavy person, but at the same time too, when you are, even for a slim person or maybe a little athletic, when things don't look balanced and you start getting a lot of weight to the stomach, it looks even worse than if you were a heavier set person. But now you got a little more leeway to go to certain areas like the stomach because the rest of your body is also big. So, there's pros and negatives in learning the way your body works in terms of what looks best for you. So my point with that is now I'll have the free time to join a gym, have my lock ready for a gym locker, and I'm ready to go in terms of that. Another thing to stay tuned for, it's going to be coming up really shortly, is also I went on a vacation to Disney World. I took my kids and I had a good time. And essentially, I want to break down the cost of that. So I am going to do a video on that. That's going to be coming up really soon, probably in the next couple of days. And just got to kind of get things like sorted out. But essentially, I want to do a video on that, breaking down the budget of things, because like I said, also on this channel, we always talk about budgeting your money, your resources and whatnot like that. And sometimes people might be in a space where they're like, you know what? I want to know, can I afford something? Or especially Disney being a very popular place, can I afford it? I've never been before, but I want to do this for my kids. And you might say, can I afford it? And there was a point in time where I started looking at certain deals and it seemed very expensive. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this, be able to do this. Then I spoke to a friend who got in contact with their planner. They actually used a planner, a Disney planner. And then they gave me that person's number. And then when I reached out, I ended up finding out that I can do a lot. I took a plan of going there for like maybe 5 days and thinking I was going to be able to do a 5-day thing, to then saying to myself, you know what, I will just do 2 days and bring the cost down. And in doing that, after reaching out to the planner, that was my plan before reaching out to the planner to downsize. After I reached out to the planner, I ended up finding out between deals that the planner was able to get and this and that, which didn't cost me extra to do this or to use the planner, because I guess they get some kind of commission regardless. I don't have to pay them extra. I was able to make like a 5-day thing out of almost the price of 2 days. So it really wasn't that bad. I'm going to break all that down so you could see how, if you are interested in doing that kind of trip, that it doesn't cost as much as you might think. And there are ways around it and little tips and tricks that also save you some additional money. That way you guys will be able to plan out something like that if you guys are interested in that, especially for kids, because I'm a very big advocate of family. That trip is really for kids. And I'm going to also detail in that video about how you do save more when you do it for your kids, or with your kids, better, I should say, from an age of 9 and below versus you trying to do it later on. So if that's a trip that you're considering, you ever considered it, you want to do it, don't take the mentality of, oh, my kids, maybe they're like 5 or 6 or 7, and you're like, maybe in a couple of years I'll be able to do it and I'll save up. You actually might be costing yourself more money by waiting, because you get significant discounts when your kids are 9 and below versus when they pass the 9 range. So that video is coming up soon. But nonetheless, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of these updates, explain what was going on. And like I said, it's really a good time because there's a lot of projects that I'm looking to dive into, and actually hoping to do a little bit of collaborations with a few other people that I know and some people that I don't know, and seeing if that would be something that will be able to happen in the near future. And yes, and just expanding a lot more stuff on the channel. With that being said, you guys, all you guys take care, be safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.